The moment the words left the queen's mouth, the entire hall fell silent. Warriors froze. Advisors tensed. Guards gripped the handles of their spears, as if some great conflict was about to erupt. No one expected the queen of the Varan dominion to address a single human in such a direct and dramatic way. And yet she stood there, tall and luminous, her eyes glowing with a strange mix of curiosity and authority. Her words echoed across the chamber like a command from ancient times. Prove your power, human, and take me. To the Varan, take me was an old phrase. It meant claim responsibility, claim leadership, claim alliance. It was used when a challenger was asked to earn the right to stand beside the ruler. It had nothing to do with romance or ownership. It was a public test, a trial of character, a demand to demonstrate ability through strength, wisdom, and restraint. But the humans in the hall, except for one, had no idea about this old Varan tradition. And the one who did know was the person being addressed. His name was Aaron, a technician from Earth who never imagined he would stand before an entire alien government. He was not a soldier. He was not a commander. He was not even the highest-ranking human on the ship. He was simply the person who had solved a problem the Varan themselves could not. Just an hour earlier, a Varan reactor had begun to destabilize after years of hidden damage. Their finest engineers struggled to understand the anomaly. Aaron stepped forward, offered to help, and with a calm voice and steady movements, fixed the instability using a method no one had seen before. It was not brute force. It was not luck. It was understanding. The Varan respected understanding more than any weapon. Now he stood there, confused but steady, facing the queen who towered above him. Though she was not much taller than a tall human, her presence filled the hall with a weight that felt like ancient stone pressing on the air. Her armor shimmered with lines of silver that flowed like living metal. Her voice was smooth yet powerful, carrying a tone that felt both commanding and strangely warm. Everyone waited for Aaron to speak. He felt dozens of alien eyes fixed on him, each pair filled with different degrees of suspicion, admiration, or disbelief. He swallowed once, took a slow breath, and answered, "I don't want to take anything from anyone," he said in a calm tone. "But if you want me to prove something, tell me what trial you expect." A ripple of reaction spread through the hall. Some Varan nodded in approval. Others whispered in confusion. The queen's eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, but in a thoughtful way. She stepped down the platform stairs and walked toward the human with steps that rang softly on the stone floor. When she reached him, she stopped only a few feet away. "You understand our words more than your companions," she said. "But do you understand our tradition?" Aaron nodded. "The phrase is symbolic. It means earning trust or responsibility." The queen tilted her head slightly. "Correct. It means claim your right to stand at my side as an ally of my people. Not as a ruler, not as a conqueror, as one who has proven their worth. Will you accept this trial?" Aaron glanced around. His fellow humans looked nervous. The Varan looked intense. He thought about refusing, but he sensed that declining the queen's request would insult an entire civilization. More than that, he felt the weight of something deeper. The Varan had been in a silent struggle for years. Their structures were strong, but their spirit was weakening. They needed something new, something different, something human. He straightened his back and answered with a firm voice, "I accept." A deep sound rolled through the hall, half cheer, half ceremonial drumbeat, produced by vibrating plates embedded in the walls. The queen raised her hand, and the hall grew quiet again. "Then the trial of three ways begins," she declared. "First, the trial of insight. Second, the trial of balance. Third, the trial of courage." Aaron's eyebrows rose slightly. What do these trials involve? You will see. The queen replied with a faint spark in her eyes. Your actions will reveal the human you are. She stepped back and motioned for the guards to prepare the hall. Massive panels shifted. Machinery hummed beneath the floor. Columns rose and platforms unfolded until the ceremonial area transformed into a space filled with glowing symbols, floating structures, and moving shapes of energy that the Varian watched from raised seats. The humans stood behind a protective barrier. Aaron stood alone in the center. The queen gestured to the first trial. The trial of insight, she said. This test is meant to measure your ability to understand the unseen. Look beyond the surface. Find the truth. Before Aaron, 3 floating spheres formed, each glowing with a different color. The queen spoke again. One of these spheres holds real energy. The other 2 hold illusions. The illusions cannot be touched. The energy sphere can be touched safely only if handled with care. You must identify the real one without using tools. You may approach. You may observe. But you cannot rely on guesses. You must see with your mind. Aaron stepped closer to the spheres. They drifted slowly in front of him. The first glowed with a deep blue light. The second shimmered with a gentle green. The third pulsed with red that looked almost alive. He studied them. He walked around them. He watched how the light fell. At first, all 3 looked equally real. Anyone else might have guessed. But Aaron focused on something else: temperature, sound, air movement. He held his hand near each sphere without touching. The blue sphere produced no warmth at all. The green made a faint hum that felt oddly hollow. The red sphere crackled ever so slightly, and the air around it felt a touch heavier. He pointed at the red sphere. This one is real. The queen nodded once. Slow and satisfied. Correct. A wave of murmurs filled the room. Some Varen were shocked. Others smiled. Aaron stepped back as the illusions vanished. The queen motioned to the next part of the arena. The second trial, she said. The trial of balance. A long walkway extended from the floor. It was narrow, made of shimmering material that shifted in unpredictable patterns. Beneath it was a field of harmless but disorienting light. The walkway moved in slow waves, forcing anyone upon it to walk with focus and precision. You must reach the other side without falling, the queen said. This path reflects the balance of mind and body. Only one who walks with calm spirit may cross. Aaron stepped onto the walkway. The first wave of motion hit his legs like a gentle push. He bent his knees slightly and centered his weight. Another wave surged. He adjusted. The walkway twisted slowly, forcing him to shift direction. At one point it rose and dipped like a slow-moving tide. He moved carefully, step by step. Some Varen whispered that he would fall. Others thought he moved too slowly. But Aaron ignored all sounds. He looked only at the path ahead, breathing steadily. Halfway across, a stronger wave hit. The walkway tilted sharply, and several spectators gasped. Aaron slipped slightly, but caught himself, spreading his arms for balance. His heart raced, but he kept moving. When he reached the end, the hall erupted with applause. Even the humans behind the barrier cheered. The queen allowed a faint smile to appear. You walk as one who refuses panic, she said. Balance is yours. Now only one trial remained. The queen turned toward a tall gate at the far end of the chamber. It opened slowly with a deep metallic sound. Behind it was a dark space filled with shifting silhouettes. The final trial, she said. The trial of courage. Aaron looked at the darkness. And what must I do here? You must enter, the queen replied. Inside, your fears will take shape. None of them can harm you. The trial tests only your heart. You must stand firm against what you fear most and remain until the chamber releases you. Aaron hesitated. The idea of facing manifested fear felt more daunting than the previous tests. But he reminded himself that courage was not the absence of fear. It was the act of moving forward despite it. He stepped into the chamber. The gate closed behind him. Instantly, the darkness shifted. Shapes formed. Sounds whispered around him. The room seemed to draw out memories from his mind. He saw the face of a friend he once failed to help. He saw the moment he doubted himself during a crisis on Earth. He heard echoes of past mistakes magnified into voices of accusation. The illusions were not physical threats. They were emotional ones, the kind that struck deeper than claws or teeth. Aaron clenched his jaw and stood his ground. The figures moved closer. The whispers grew louder. But he reminded himself that these fears were echoes, not truths. They could not define him unless he allowed them. He closed his eyes and breathed slowly. The voices faded. The figures dissolved. The darkness softened. Then the gate opened behind him. He stepped out into the hall. The entire chamber went silent again. The queen approached with steps that carried the weight of her entire people. She stood before him and spoke in a clear, powerful tone. "You have passed the 3 ways," she said, "by insight, by balance, and by courage. You have proven your power, not through force, but through understanding and resolve. By our ancient law, you may claim alliance with me and with the Varine Dominion." The hall filled with a deep ceremonial sound. Varen guards stood tall. Advisors bowed their heads. Human representatives stared in shock. Aaron stood there, breathing slowly, trying to take in what had happened. But before he could speak, the queen addressed everyone present. "This human has shown the strength that our people once valued. Not destruction, but clarity. Not dominance, but steadiness. Not intimidation, but courage of spirit. Let this